Hey everyone, and welcome. So you're writing code, right? And you've got data just everywhere. How in the world do you keep it all straight? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on two of Python's most essential power tools for wrangling all that information, the mighty list and the super versatile dictionary.
So how do you actually organize a mountain of information with your code? I mean, think about it. You're building an app, right? You've got to track, your top 5 high scores, or maybe all the stuff in a shopping cart, or even just a list of your friends. A normal variable, well, it can only hold one thing at a time. And that's a huge problem. We've got to have a way to group all that related data together.
And that's where this idea of a collection comes in. It's the big solution here. And honestly, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a way to put a whole bunch of values into a single variable. This simple concept, it's the absolute key to keeping your data organized and, actually usable.
Okay, so let's dive into our first tool. And it's probably the most common type of collection you're ever going to see, the Python list. The best way to think about it, it's just a simple, ordered container for all your stuff.
Just look at this before and after. It says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got a separate variable for every single friend. It's just clunky. It's a pain to manage. But then look at the right. So much better. One single clean list called friends, holding everything together in this neat little package. It's just way, way cleaner.
So what can you actually cram into one of these lists? Well, the answer is pretty much anything. Seriously, you can have a list of numbers, a list of strings, you can get crazy and mix different types all in the same list. You can even put a list inside another list. It's this incredible flexibility that makes lists the absolute go-to tool for so many developers. Okay, so you've got your data neatly packed into a list. Awesome. But now what? How do you actually do stuff with it? Well, let's open up the toolkit and see how we can work with our new list.
All right, the first and most common thing you're going to do is just grab a single item out of that list. And here's how it works. Because lists are ordered, every item has a specific position, which we call its index. Now, here is the absolute most important thing to remember, the thing that trips up everyone at first. Computers start counting from 0. So the very first item is at index 0, the second is at index 1, and so on. That's why when we ask for friends 1, we don't get the first friend, Joseph. We get the second one, Glenn. You got to remember that 0 indexing.
Okay, this next idea is super important. It's a fancy word, mutability, but the concept is simple. Think of a string, like banana, as being carved in stone. It's immutable. You can't just chisel out the capital B and replace it with a lowercase b. Python will literally give you an error. But lists? Oh, lists are like clay. They're immutable. You can totally change them. See here, we can just reach into our lotto list, grab the number at index 2, which is 26, and swap it out for 28. No fuss, no errors. It's a huge difference.
Now, in the real world, you rarely have all your data right at the start. So a really common thing to do is to just create an empty list and then build it up as you go. And the way you do that is with a handy little method called .append. Every time you append something, it just gets tacked right onto the end of the list. It's a perfect way to say collect user input or gather results while your program is running.
And this right here is where lists become absolute superstars. Lists and loops are like best friends. They were made for each other. You can write a super simple for loop that just says, hey, for every single friend in my list, do this thing. In this case, we're printing a Happy New Year message to each one. It's so clean, so efficient, and just incredibly powerful.
All right, so lists are amazing. We get it. But they're not the answer to every problem. There's a catch. What happens when knowing the order of things, first, second, third? What if that's not actually helpful for finding what you need?
Here's a great way to think about it. A list is like the button panel in an elevator, right? If you know you need to go to the 5th floor, it's easy. You just press the button labeled 5. But what if you don't know the floor number? What if all you know is that you need to find the marketing department? That numbered panel is suddenly pretty useless, isn't it? You need a totally different kind of directory.
And this is a perfect real-world example. Let's say we need to look up a capital city. I mean, sure, we could put them all on a list, but then how would you find the capital of Italy? You'd have to magically know what its index number is, right? What we really want to do is just ask the computer a simple question, hey, what's the capital of Italy? And have it instantly tell us Rome. A list just can't do that.
And to do that job, we need to pull a whole new tool out of our toolbox. It's time to talk about dictionaries.
So here's the magic of a dictionary. It doesn't care about a numbered order at all. Instead, it stores information in pairs. You have a unique key that's linked to a value. And it works exactly like a real-world dictionary.
You use the key, which is like the word you look up, to find its associated value, which is like the definition. In our example, the country is the key and the capital city is the value. Simple as that.
And making one in Python is super easy. The big difference you'll notice is the brackets. Instead of the square brackets we use for lists, dictionaries use these curly braces. And inside, you just set up your pairs. You write the key, then a colon, then the value. And you just do that for every pair you want to store.
And once you have a dictionary, using it just feels really natural. Instead of putting a number in the square brackets like you do with a list, you just put the key. So you can look up a value, add a brand new key-value pair, change an existing value, or even delete a pair entirely, all by using that meaningful key instead of some random index number.
Okay, we've got two awesome, powerful tools in our belt now, the list and the dictionary. But this brings us to the most important question of all. How do you know which one to choose? When should you use a list, and when should you use a dictionary? Let's put them side by side and figure it out. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Ask yourself, does the order of the items matter? If the answer is yes, you need a list. Think about a leaderboard in a game or the steps in a recipe or a to-do list. The order is absolutely critical. But if what really matters is the connection or the label for each piece of data, then you need a dictionary. Things like a user profile, where a username is linked to an email, or your phone contacts, where a name is linked to a number. That's a job for a dictionary.
Look, if you walk away with just one single thing today, let it be this. Lists are for sequences. Dictionaries are for lookups. That's the whole game right there. When you have a sequence of things where the order is key, grab a list. When you need to look something up using a unique label, grab a dictionary. Getting this right is going to make your code so much cleaner, faster, and just easier for you to understand later.
So there you have it, the list and the dictionary. These two are the absolute bedrock for organizing data in pretty much any Python program you can dream up. Now you've got the tools. The only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first? Thanks for tuning in.